It's that time again for another Orange Grove 55 Q&A video. I'm answering your questions in regards to the parks, in regards to the studio. We're going to dive into it up next. Hey everybody, welcome aboard. Welcome to the channel. Thank you for tuning in today. This is a Q&A video. Periodically, I do these videos. I will put a call to action in the community tab and ask you, what do you want me to talk about? And I did that the other day and I got a lot of great questions. So we're going to dive into the questions. So first one on the books today is from Marshan, #Disney Diva Thomas. Now, first of all, I want to thank you, Marshan, for all your support. You've been a subscriber and a supporter of this channel for a long time. I really do appreciate it. I love your comments. Like, for those of you at home that aren't aware, Marshan will she's been on me about my cussing in my videos. And she's like, oh man, you're cussing. And Marshan, I am trying. I am working on minimizing the cussing. It is an issue, but I appreciate Marshan. She's fantastic. She's a lot of fun. And I really do appreciate her taking the time to support the channel. It's much appreciated, Marshan. Thank you so much. So Marshan, though, is asking, what are your thoughts on the changes in Splash Mountain? It has been some time since we heard of any updates on the new themed ride. Do you think they are still going to make this new themed ride come into play for Tiana? Thanks. Then she goes on to say, personally, I would love for her to have another ride, such as being similar to Snow White. I enjoy Splash Mountain, but I hate the drop. Okay, so this is interesting, Marshan, what you brought up here. Number one. Do I think the ReTheme is still going to happen? Absolutely. More now than ever, actually. Look, Bob Chapek went through a PR optics disaster with the LGBTQ plus bill in Florida. That was a mess for him, right? It was a total mess for him. If he were to go, if he were to go and cancel now this Splash Mountain ReTheme, or if it was leaked that they were canceling it, it would be even more of a mess for him. Like on top of the Florida thing. And I just don't think right now he can really do that. I think that this ReTheme is going to happen. I think the reason why we're not hearing a lot of updates right now, I think the reason why they're kind of dragging their feet is really money. The money. We heard at the shareholder meeting a few days ago from Bob Chapek himself that a lot of big projects like the Avengers Quinjet e-ticket for California Adventure, the Mary Poppins attraction over at Epcot have been put on hold because of like the pandy, the lockdowns really cut into the money. And so once everything kind of normalizes, they're going to start bringing these projects back online. I think with Splash Mountain, I think because it is such a popular attraction, they really want to get it right. So I think they're taking their time with it and making sure that the money is available when they go in there and start to rip things up and change things out. So I think it is happening. I don't think Bob Chapek publicly can afford to cancel this. I just think that they're taking their time because I think there really is like this sense of like, we have to do this right? It's important on so many levels. Now, you also mentioned here that you love Tiana, but like you don't like the drops on Splash Mountain, and that's going to be an issue. I don't think you're alone in that. I think that a lot of people are hesitant to ride Splash Mountain because of those drops. I know I was. Hey, look, I'll make no bones about it. When I was younger, I mean, I've always been like a real nerd with Disney. I've always loved Disney. And it took me a long time. I was probably like 16, 17 years old before I actually would get the guts to even ride Splash Mountain. And my mom would always tell me, Chris, you would love it. You would love it. Come on, get on it. It's a cool dark ride and what have you. I couldn't get the guts to do it because of the drop. And I'm glad I finally did it, eventually. And now I'm fine with it. But a lot of people are scared of those drops, and that will definitely detour at least some people from riding the attraction, Marshan, unfortunately. So that is a factor. That's definitely a factor. But yes, to come back around, it is going to happen. I'm certain of it. It will happen. It's probably going to take a while, but it will definitely happen. And I think it's a perfect fit for Disneyland because, Splash Mountain kind of straddles New Orleans Square and Critter Country. And I think that Princess and the Frog IP is perfect for that. It obviously fits New Orleans perfectly, but it even fits Critter Country kind of perfectly with the alligators and the fireflies and all the swamp critters. So I think it's gonna be a great fit for Disneyland. It's gonna be fantastic, but we're just gonna have to be patient because it's gonna be a while. All right, Marshan. Again, thank you so much for the support. I do appreciate it. Thank you for the question. And the next question comes from Owen. Owen Lensmeyer. Sorry, Owen, if I massacred your last name, sir. I do apologize. But Owen is asking thoughts on the outrage over Disneyland's decision to remove the patriotic finale from the Main Street Electrical Parade and replace it with an inclusive float. Hey, look, I don't know. I don't really see the outrage. I don't know why people are so outraged. I'll be real with you. I like both. I actually liked the patriotic finale. I thought it was really cool for the bicentennial. Look, I mean, Disneyland was real. If you read the dedication plaque and if you hear Walt Disney talk about, Disneyland, it's very much rooted in Americana. That's just an objective fact. Okay. So the finale float was very much in line with the overall spirit of Disneyland, right? It really was. That it was cool in that regard. But on the same note, the inclusive float, as you call it, the more globally focused float, the more cultural float, is also very Disneyland. Now, let's not forget, Walt Disney built an enormous attraction for the New York World's Fair that he brought over here to Disneyland called It's a Small World, which is very much an inclusive kind of attraction, right? And, bringing the world together. We're one global community. So both concepts, whether it be the patriotic finale or whether it be this more global finale, are both very Disneyland. And I think they're both great. I think the patriotic finale was great for its time. I think right now, the more global float is more appropriate for the age that we live in. But both concepts are very, very Disneyland, and they fit very, very well with the park. I'm looking forward to it. Look, I am a huge fan of the Main Street Electrical Parade. My late grandmother absolutely adored this parade. And so the parade always holds a special place in my heart because of her. But it's just amazing with the lights. The music is so iconic and legendary. It really is the king of all parades. And I hate when I see people talk shit about the electrical parade because it really is awesome. It really is awesome. It just needs kind of like what Tokyo has done with their Dream Lights parade. They just need to update the lights, update the tech a little bit. And I think this could be an evergreen kind of parade that lasts forever, as long as you maintain it and update it. And it looks like they're doing that with this new global flow. They're updating it. So, hey, you know what? I'm all for it. I'm really excited about it. Thank you, Owen. I do appreciate the question, sir. I burnt my toast. And I burnt my toast says, I'm sorry, I'll start again. After the Mickey's Toontown reimagining and Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway, what do you think is next for Disneyland Resort in terms of reimagining / additions? Tomorrowland, Hollywoodland. Well, thank you, I burnt my toast. I do appreciate it. What do I think is next? I think that big Avengers e-ticket is next. Look, there's no denying whether fans want to like it or not. The IP is king right now at current Disney. The IP runs the day. Okay, it really does rule the roost, and there's no bigger IP right now than Marvel. Okay, so I think that the Avengers e-ticket is going to be the next thing after Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. I think they're going to start working on that Avengers e-ticket. I do. They've already done the research and development on it. Like a lot of the legwork is already done on the attraction. They just need to put shovel to dirt and start building it. Okay. So, and it's a huge property. Marvel is just like a money-making machine for them. There's no other franchise that they can add in either park that's gonna be bigger than Marvel. So I think that would be the next thing. Absolutely. Absolutely. I think it's going to happen. And look, we've heard from Bob Chapek at the shareholder meeting a few days ago that that attraction, that Quinjet Avengers attraction, has not been canceled. It's just been put on hold because the pandy and the lockdowns have sort of, stifled the finances, right? So but he didn't say it was canceled. He said it's more likely going to happen. It's just that things need to normalize a little bit. So that's what I think is going to happen. I do think that that's going to be the next step for the Disneyland Resort. Tomorrowland really needs it bad. And so does Hollywoodland, actually. But I hope those areas get a lot of TLC soon. I just don't know, though, when that will happen, unfortunately. I don't know. But I think the Avengers ride is probably going to be the next thing, on the agenda. But I burnt my toes. Thank you so much for the question. It was a fantastic, fantastic question, sir. And the next question comes from Kermit the Bog. All right. So Kermit the Bog asked, do you think Disney will make another 2D animated movie again? Kermit, look, I'm a big proponent of traditional animation. I absolutely adore and love traditional animation. I think that the Renaissance era, that Little Mermaid, Beauty and the Beast, Aladdin, Lion King era is some of the best animation Disney has ever done. And I'll even go as far as to say that like movies like Beauty and the Beast, the animated version, even go beyond and excel past a lot of the stuff that even Walt Disney did. Yeah, you heard me. I think Beauty and the Beast is better than a lot of the stuff that Walt Disney did. And that's a huge part of that is because of Howard Ashman, let's be honest. But I love those films, and I love traditional animation. I love the way it looks, that hand drawn. There's something about it, right? There's just something about it that just has more. I just feel like hand drawn animation has more soul and character to it. Because it's done by a human being. With that said, do I think Disney will do it? Honestly, Kermit, probably not. Just to be completely honest with you, I don't think we'll ever see a real traditional animated movie again. Even if they make a movie that looks like hand-drawn animation, it's probably going to be all done on the computer. There's never going to be a day where it's like a true 2D film where they draw it and the cells and they paint the cells and the way it was done before. Those days are gone. Those days are never returning. If we ever see anything that's even close to a hand-drawn film, it'll still be drawn and painted on the computer. So it's just not the same. It's just not the same. And you know what? As much as I love traditional animation, I'm okay with that, I guess. I mean, one of my big things early on with CGI, computer animation, was that the human figures never looked right. Like when you looked at like the early Toy Story movies, the human characters always looked really wonky and weird, kind of creepy. But I think ever since Tangled in 2010, I think Disney and Pixar have really mastered the look of human figures in CGI. And I think ever since then, ever since Tangled, I've been more and more okay with CGI. They can make fairy tales. They can make movies now that look really good in CGI. We've seen it with Tangled. We've seen it with Frozen. These are great movies. Moana, things like that. So yeah, unfortunately, Kermit, I do think the days of hand-drawn animation that we once knew are completely over. It's over. It's done. They might be able to do a movie that kind of looks like hand-drawn animation, but it will be done on the computer. So it's not even really the same thing anymore, So sadly though, but yeah, I love hand-drawn animation, man. Pinocchio is an amazing film. Like you can watch Pinocchio, that's from like the 40s, and some of the backgrounds in Pinocchio look better than a lot of the CGI stuff done today. I mean, the 9 Old Men and Walt Disney were no joke. They were no joke. Pinocchio was so detailed and so perfect and flawless, all done by hand. just gorgeous. It's such a great little art form. I absolutely love and adore it. But you know, time moves on, progress happens, and unfortunately, those days are over. And I unfortunately do not believe they will ever return, sadly. But thank you, Kermit. I do appreciate the question. And I want to thank everybody for watching today. And I want to thank everybody who contributed today with their questions. I do Q&As periodically. So if your question was not answered today, just go ahead, go to the community tab on my YouTube channel, post your comment, post your question. And in the next Q&A, I'll answer your question. So I do these all the time. And hey, sometimes like the questions that kind of need a little more explanation or they're kind of meaty, I'll even dedicate a whole video to those. You know, I'll bring Vash Sky on or George Disney Family Man, and we'll talk about it. So we definitely pull from your comments, from your questions a lot. So, but I want to thank everybody for watching today. It was a really good time. I really love doing these Q&As. They're a lot of fun. I like connecting with you guys. Comment down below. If you have a question for the next Q&A, comment down below. What's your question in regards to theme parks? What's your questions in regards to the studio side? You can even ask me stuff like just Hollywood in general, entertainment in general, even if it's not necessarily Disney. You can still ask down below because I like to dive into all this stuff, you know? So I want to thank you all so much for watching. And as always, have a wonderful, wonderful day.